Guys, thanks for being here. Officially begin practice for year 4 of Coach Mulkey here at LSU. So we will open it up for questions and we'll get a mic to you, so please raise your hand.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I guess just starting off, just generally, what are the updates on Samaya Smith and Aaliyah Del Rosario as, y'all get this thing started?
Yeah, Samaya's been cleared to go full speed ahead, and she'll be on the floor today. Aaliyah will not. She had her ankle, I guess you'd say, cleaned out. It's kind of just kept swelling on her, so what do you call it? I don't know, bone spurs in there, I don't know. Also, Izzy won't practice today. She's got to get cleared by the cardiologist, something going on with her heart, so you'll see those two sitting out today.
Yeah, Kim, just looking at your roster this year, the transfers you got are, all of them look like they're going to contribute heavily. Just talk about each of the people you got. The kid from Arizona, the Miami kid who I guess you've played against in Jersey, Mississippi State, Miracle.
Well, I'm probably going to forget all of them if I do them individually. I think what you're going to notice there, Ron, is good guards, quickness, kids that can get up and down the floor. Jersey, I recruited Jersey out of high school when I was at Baylor, and she played in a great program for Ricky Smith in Fort Smith, Arkansas, and she went to Arkansas, and she didn't finish the year, and I contacted her. She came on a visit, and she's here, and we're excited about all the transfers. I think it's a good mix of transfers, older players with experience, and then you add it to the ones that we have that have the experience, and then you look at Jada, our local young lady. She's really the only freshman that we have. So we've got a good little mixture of experience and new players and one young one.
I guess staying with that theme, what do you think the makeup of this team is going to look like when you guys get up and running to your potential?
I hope it's athletic. I hope it's speed and quickness. I think we have more depth at the guard spots. I hope when we get everybody healthy, the posts will be just as you expect them to be. You know, when Samaya went down, that kid was almost averaging a double-double. I think it was like 11 and 7. And you hope that she can give you that and more. I think Aaliyah healthy. You saw the value of Aaliyah, particularly in that UCLA game when we had to go against Betts and Tall. I just think that you know what Morrow gives you. You've got a senior in Amani. So, you know, and then you add Jersey in there, and you can move Jersey and you can move Morrow outside some if you need to. So I'm going to be curious in a month to tell you more based upon what I see every day.
Kim, do you suspect that, or maybe predict that Jade is going to surprise some people?
Wouldn't surprise me. I saw that young lady hit almost 40 against Michaela's team in high school. She comes from a great high school program, played for Coach Errol Rogers, who has coached at the collegiate level. She understands the point guard position as good as anybody I've coached. She's not afraid to be a leader, so it won't surprise me. I think what you're referring to is she didn't play on the EYBL circuit or the Nike circuit, and I just don't get caught up in that. I'm more of, you watch young people play and you don't care if they spend all that money playing on all these national teams. If they can play, they can play. And nothing I have seen from her surprises me. It was everything I expected.
Kim, I take it this starts your 40th year in coaching, or the 40th anniversary of you starting in coaching?
Scott, you just have a way of pissing me off right out of the gate, don't you? 40 years, yes. Can you believe that?
No,
This is
it's
my
great.
25th year as a head coach, and you add the 15 at Louisiana Tech. Does that add up to 40? And then
Well, I can't do math. I'm a journalist. but
yeah.
Yes.
started when I was 23 years of age, and I'm still alive and kicking with a few stints.
How have you kept, that fire, that desire going, and is it what you Obviously, especially with so many changes in the game, it's probably, I mean, too many to mention obviously here, but it's so many changes. How have you kept current and kept that edge going to where you still strive to be the best every year?
I think, one, I just have a lot of energy. And I think that if you have the energy, if you're putting a product on the floor that's competitive and your health is good, what else am I going to do in life? I can only hang around my grandchildren so long they still have to go to school. And so it's fun for me to be challenged. It's fun for me to get up every day and still feel like I'm contributing something to this game. The hard part is what you said about things changing in collegiate athletics. And I feel like I'm probably one of the old dinosaurs that's been able to adapt. And I think some in my age group have gotten out because it's like, no, not putting up with that anymore. I've been able to adapt without changing my philosophies on the floor with discipline, with defense, with rebounding, and those things. It's still college sports. All the other outside stuff, Scott, honestly, I don't deal with it. I give it to an assistant or an administrator, and they allow me just to be a coach.
Hey, Kim, I wanted to ask you about Flage. She's a cross-platform player, person, name, brand. In the post-Angel Caitlin women's college basketball world, how significant do you think of a role she will play in the continued growth of the sport?
Well, I think Flage is a well-known player, not just because of her rap, but because of her talent. And Michaela Williams, Flage, you know, it's kind of like an evolution of the next era. And I think those two young ladies have to lead and guide us.
Coach, I want to take you back to the transfers. So when last season ended and you started looking in the portal, what exactly was it that you were looking for in the portal?
Players at all positions that can play, that can help you. Players that want to be here, players that value defense, players that understand we're going to push you hard. And I just think that we didn't limit ourselves to numbers. We had plenty to give, and I think we signed quite a few. But you got to always remember, the program can't exist and sustain success if all you get every year are transfers. You got to keep getting those freshmen. The hard part is you just don't know every year when you step on the floor if you're going to have the same team that you had that finished the year. And that's what runs a lot of coaches out of the business. It's like you could used to, my freshman class, man, they're going to be good when they're juniors and they've got all this experience. It just doesn't work like that anymore. So whatever roster you have out there, you got to go to work right out of the gates.
We've seen Flage's game evolve, over her couple of years here. Her defense obviously picked up a lot last year. What are you hopeful for her in the next evolutionary step for her game?
I think Flage will tell you her all-around game. And I think when you're a freshman, you're scared to put freshmen on the better player on the other team because they're a freshman. There were moments last year on the perimeter where we could put Flage on the better players, but then you had to realize she's still a sophomore. And I think now on the defensive end of the floor, I want to be able to look at her and go, you can go guard anybody in our league. And those kinds of responsibilities that I would like to see her say, let me do it, coach. Can she? Absolutely she can. And she's done it sparingly in the 2 years that she's been here. Offensively, you saw what she can do. She's a long, lengthy guard that can get you rebounds as well.
Hey, Coach, Angel with such a big presence on the court, off the court, is there a void to fill with her gone, or is there no pressure on this team to just be themselves and be their own team?
I don't think there was ever any pressure, even when Angel was here. Each kid is just got a different personality, and I told you many times, I coach some big personalities, and somebody in this bunch will have the big personality. Now, it might not be in comparison to Angel, but the personalities just kind of rise to the top when they get comfortable. And, and it comes with confidence, and it comes with being older. But we're going to always play with emotion. We're going to always play excited, and those personalities will surface.
Hey, Coach, over here. Just what are you looking to see from Michaela over this next month or so before the season gets started, just as she continues to raise her level and her consistency?
Just leadership. When you're a freshman, you're kind of afraid to lead. Just go play. And she, had a great freshman year, SEC Player of the Year, and just challenge her to take it to the next level and to be more of a leader, not just by how you play, because she does play hard. If you watch us practice, that kid practices hard. It's a leader in all that you do while you're at LSU. And that's probably not fair because she's just a sophomore, but under the circumstances of what we have on our team, she may have to do more of that at an earlier age.
Can you talk about the trip to Greece and how important maybe that was for team building and a bunch of new faces that just gotten here, getting to all be together for that length of time?
Yeah, I've been blessed to be able to take a lot of teams through the years to different places. The last trip was Italy. I was miserable. That's when I had the neck injury and the disc and all that stuff. So I was in bad shape, but I stayed over there. This trip was so enjoyable because we didn't have to play a game. You get nervous when you take these trips and you have to play because your fear is, gosh, we're not really in shape, and you hope people don't get injured while you're over there. We don't have to take that, play that game anymore. So we took it as, we took the teacher with us, professor with us, and it was, what do you call it, study abroad, and they did a lot of things over there. They went to, I guess you would call like a homeless shelter over there and played with the kids and cleaned up. They would meet with the professor so many hours and make sure that they were doing what they were supposed to do to get credit for a class. And for me, I loved it because honestly, I really didn't have to work. My work was to watch them, to do things with them that none of us had ever done. And I really, really enjoyed it.
As you start this season, what are some moments from last season that you reflect on that you hope you can learn from and take into this new team that you have?
Oh boy, that'd be too many. We'll be here a while. Good and bad. I thought that there were moments throughout the season where lots of challenges came our way, and we never buckled. We never let it affect our play on the floor. In other words, we never lost a game because disruptions were happening around us. The games we lost, we just lost to the better team that night. So I will always think back about all the stuff on the outside that everybody was so wrong about, and the kids would just laugh in the locker room about it. But that comes from leaders. That comes from me, starting with me, and everybody in that locker room just understanding where our focus needed to be.
Coach, is there a timetable to get Aaliyah back with her ankle?
Well, certainly before the season. I can't tell you. I try not to ask, Reed, because I believe that the more you ask, the more you feel like they might be thinking it's pressure to get her out there. It's like, just tap me on the shoulder when she can go.
And with your guards, and incorporating the transfers with a couple of the returners, do you have an idea of how the rotation might shake out?
Oh, Lord, no. We had a staff meeting this morning talking about personnel. I like to talk about it before we get on the floor with them every day, and then come back in another month and say, give me your list. I want to see what you thought was going to happen with certain players and see how close you were to being correct. You do things like that, but heavens no, I don't have a clue. You know what you have in Morrow, you know what you have in Flage, you know what you have in Michaela, you know what you have in Poa, you know a little bit of what you had in Aaliyah and Samaya. But all these other ones are new, and how they're gonna, pan out, there's no way of just projecting that at this moment.
We got time for a couple more, Ron, and then we'll finish it back with Cobble.
Yeah, Kim, for all the, I guess, NIL stuff with Flage and her personality and how people see her from the outside, does her love of basketball and this pride in her game get overlooked?
Not by me. That kid's one of the more talented kids I've ever coached. I think what gets overlooked is I am amazed at how good she is at both, and how much time it takes at both to be good. Not just average, she's just good. And she's got it all figured out. But she had it figured out when she got here. What she didn't have figured out is on the floor, and stuff like that, as far as, popping right back up when you get hit in the mouth and things like that. But her work ethic is just, I don't know that she ever really gets tired. If you'll remember, I said her freshman year, she thought she's supposed to play 40 minutes a game and got just so dejected when I would take her out for no reason. And now she's just more of a leader, and she's got, guys, that kid's, her soul is just precious. Her heart is just joyous and good, and the things I could tell all of y'all about her that she does, you wouldn't believe. And I was sitting on the couch yesterday and watching, I guess it was the Saints. Yeah, I think it was the Saints and the Eagles, and they're going into a commercial. And I got up and I hear Flage. I forgot she's doing, that's big time. And I thought, that's Flage. And so she's something else now.
I got two if I can. With the guard play that you're expected to have, do you think it'll be a little bit more dribble penetration, drive and kick to the game?
Well, you change based on your personnel. Now, let me make it clear. You don't win if you don't have post play. You don't win if you don't have shooters, and you don't win if you don't have good guard play, point guard play. That's never going to change. What we will do is let this evolve and see, do we throw it in there as much as we did when we had the Angel and whoever? I hope we can, but I'm going to go with what can score buckets for you. So we will spread the floor if need be. We will set the on-ball picks. We will have post players in there, so let them figure out what it is they do well, and it's my job to put them in a position to be successful. We are still 6'5" and 6'5". Aaliyah's 6'5". She might tell you she's bigger. Samaya's pretty tall. She's just thin. Jersey's not much below them, so I'm not going to make point guards out of those guys. Those guys are going to want to touch, and they're going to want to touch the ball in there. So they just got to finish, and they got to produce in there.
From Mike's question about going to Greece, you're also going to go to Shreveport and Chicago. You've done this obviously with the game in Baltimore, with playing in Shreveport before. Why is it important for you to kind of have a hometown game for the girls?
Well, you never can get it to work out for some young ladies. Think about that. Who doesn't want to go home and play in front of people who watched them grow up? And to take Michaela back to Bossier, I hope it's a sellout. You get to play Grambling, and I want to hear Grambling's band. I hope they bring it. I heard our band's not going, so should I give them grief? They don't want to get, abused by Grambling's band is what I'm going to tell them. Y'all just scared. But no, that's going to be fun for Michaela. Chicago is Morrow teasing me about, okay, we're in Baltimore, you're gonna take me back to the Windy City. And so we were able to do that. And you can't do it all the time, but you sure try.
All right, thank you guys. First 15 minutes of practice is open for y'all to shoot, and then after that, y'all are welcome to stick around.
And we're gonna be a minute before we go on the floor, so y'all can get you a beer and do what you need to do.